What is going on, guys? We are back, and today we are talking about Mr. Papavera, who goes by many different names. I'm going to show you that there is no such thing as a normal DSP fan. As you see from my previous videos, such as Derek, Timbo, River Rejection, and others, and the quest continues to find a normal DSP fan, which, let's be honest, I'm never going to find one. For people that are new in the Vortex, you might not know this name. Mr. Papavera, or Mr. Papaverance as he's called here. He is a person that helps DSP in Minecraft. But is that the only stuff he helps DSP in? Does he give him other ideas? Does he suggest things to him? Could Mr. Papavera be one of the a lot of people DSP always talks about? Well, we're going to take a look at that. Plus, we're going to look at the degeneracy that Mr. Papavera is all about. We're gonna look at how he's a man-child who refuses to grow up. We're gonna find out that he's a brony, that he wants to be a cuddle buddy, that he wants to couch surf on other people's couches. And the best part about everything I'm about to show you is it's all public. He put every single thing out on public platforms. So nothing is doxed in here. He put everything out here. First thing I want to point out, unlike a lot of the other dents I covered, you know, River Rejection, PWR, Derek. This is actually an American dent. Because I was losing my mind. Because you got Captain Alex, you got Derek, you got PWR, all these people that are Canadian dents. I'm like, what is going on here? But when you have Timbo and Mr. Papavera, you realize it's global. The sickness is spreading. Then also, one thing you'll notice as well, he puts his location on his Twitter here. And not only that, he puts his age. So we now know that Mr. Papavera, as of 2025, is 48 years old. Imagine being almost 50 and hand-holding DSP in games. And then the other thing you're going to notice, top right corner, he has a pride flag. That is right. He switches in between being gay and straight, when in reality he's probably bi, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's weird that he's supporting DSP, who's a former ally. And then he says on Twitter, Minecraft related account for in-game character and for the Secret Garden server. DMs open. I bet DSP's gonna slip in his DMs just like he did Cats, you know, for technical issues. Now it's funny that Mr. Papavera describes himself as having autism, and he says, I'm happy that I have it. Now remember how he's holding DSP's hand in the first playthrough of Minecraft, and probably the second one as well? Well, Mr. Papavera runs a Minecraft server called Oddcraft. And he describes it as the first Minecraft server for children with autism and their families. So you gotta think, Mr. Papavera must think that DSP has autism, just like everybody else. Even Darziak thinks that, Dragon Boy himself. And then he's very public, that he's on Plenty of Fish and Match.com. He even did a news article interview talking about his experience with it. He also talked about how he's part of Cuddle Comfort, where people, random strangers, meet up and cuddle. And he also describes himself as pretty submissive, which makes sense if he's working for DSP. And his favorite TV show is My Little Pony. Sounds a lot like Raven, just saying. And that is really weird because in his Minecraft server, that's for children with autism and families, he describes his character in the game, not him, but his character as homosexual. Which, if you're straight in person, and then your character in game is homosexual and you're directing it towards children, that's very weird. Then we have a picture from 1990 of Mr. Papavera, who also goes online as Preston Jones. And look at this professional picture done here. And then we have this glam shot of Mr. Papavera, and you can tell there's filters and there's all kind of stuff all over the camera. It reminds me of the girls that go on Instagram and put all the filters on to make them look different from what they actually look like. And of course, this is the real Mr. Papavera here without the filters. And this here is his picture for his dating profile. Man, that's gonna attract all the women, or men, whatever you're into. Then guys, you're never gonna believe this. Just like every single dent that follows DSP, he's a failed streamer. I know. It's amazing how many failed streamers live through DSP thinking that he's a success. And this picture right down at the bottom left of that flower, remember that, because you're going to see that symbol, that logo, quite often. Then he also had a YouTube channel, Mr. Papaveris. He actually had two of them. And then he also had Preston Jones. Now, if you notice right at the bottom there, sirmax.com, he also goes under Sir Max as well. Almost like he uses a lot of sock accounts. And yet again, puts where he lives as well, his hometown. And even that he worked at the Grand Canyon at one point. And then we also have a profile on Mr. Papavera on Burkit. Now, if you're not familiar what Burkit is, so Burkit is a Minecraft server that deals with mods. Now, who recently has been given mods to DSP? Who's recently been holding his hands for mods? And I believe it was like Devin or Devon or something like that. When DSP leaked his Discord, he showed off that somebody was helping him with mods. And I got a feeling it was Mr. Papavera under a sock account. And then we have Preston Jones on Facebook. And he puts this on Facebook in 2011. So he's in his 30s right now. Oh my god, she sings like AJ. Hugs. That's so cute. She loves her bronies. Buck yeah, Rainbow Dash got her back. 21 people need to go eat an apple pie. And I have no idea what this even means. 70 people were blindfolded and had the audio muted. No other explanation. Probably a serial killer. Then apparently another movie or novel that Mr. Papavera likes is Twilight. And he says, fits so well with Twilight. He's talking about a song fitting well with Twilight. Then I believe this was him talking about My Little Pony and adding a song to it. In this song, I see her standing alone on the edge of cloud high up, soaking in the moment in pause before racing off. Sun glowing behind her, the wind blows her hair forward, takes off like a dart in the sky, flying faster. Big smile on her face, reflection. Then he also puts out, I feel like I just walked into a candy store. Of course, talking about a brony store. That was good, man. Bro, hoof. And haters drop the mic. Oh my god, new episode coming, squee! Oh dear lord. Grabs Hasbro by the head and turns into Anthrocon? I have no idea what that is. See, look, good. Nods head. Turns head back to stage. No. Shakes head. Bad. Pretty sure the Hasbro part was like My Little Pony dolls. And this is really weird, he's talking about a kid here. It would be hilarious to have kid like 9-year-old boy in McDonald's and get a Happy Meal. And when they put it on the tray with the toy, the kid looks up and confused and is like, what is this? Employee, that's your toy that comes with your meal. And then he's talking about Hasbro dolls here. Those are actually good toys. They actually look like them. The ones in Target are crap. Why is the cheap McDonald's version way superior to the Hasbro dolls? And then he just says to someone, Fates on lounge sofa. What? Then he's talking about My Little Pony again. Not gonna lie, made me tear up a bit. Then another one about being a brony. Well, I'll tell you how I came to be a brony. I wanted to see what all the fuss was about. Watching one after the other, realizing I was liking it. I was not a fan of My Little Pony before. In fact, I didn't like it. But watching, film what I got out of it. Damn, that's pretty impressive. Slow bro, hoof, glare. Who is this person? Then we have Pokes hat with stick, hugs. Then they announce they just joined Portland area My Little Pony film fans. And trust me, we'll get into that as well. Then shows an image of My Little Pony. Then shows off a picture of people protesting saying, not my president, and love Trump's hate. So this is from November 10th, 2016. So this is right after Donald Trump got elected the first time. Then also shows off ribbon candy and says, also this, I remember for Christmas having a box of ribbon candy and was one of my favorites. That's how you know someone's a sociopath, if they like ribbon candy. Then would you look at that, another DSP fan that's fat. Who would have guessed that? And he shows off his diet and exercise routine and asks people, would you like to try it as well? Then remember, every single time DSP goes, somebody sent me this idea. Someone told me to do this for DSP tries it. Keep this in mind. Preston Jones, Mr. Papavera. Not that I really eat fast food anymore, but still curious to check it out. And we see an article, fast food chicken, testing Subway, McDonald's, A&W, Wendy's, and Tim Hortons. And I believe DSP in the past few years has tried every single thing on here except Tim Hortons and A&W. Could Mr. Papavera be the one suggesting DSP tries it to DSP? Then we have Mr. Papavera on the Minecraft forum. And there we go, that flower logo yet again. And the funny thing here, so remember Preston Jones was in California, and look at that, Mr. Papavera has the exact same location. Funny how that works out. And then we have Mr. Papavera's Reddit here. If you're ever wondering who is suggesting all these ideas, telling DSP, play this game, play that game, and everyone's like, why would you play that game? This might be one of the people suggesting the games to DSP, as he puts in PC Master Race, Street Fighter series, Tekken, Smash, Madden series, remember he did the Madden trial, FIFA, he's played FIFA in the past, Sonic OG titles, Mario 64, Majora's Mask, Mega Man series which DSP did recently, Pokemon series, Halo, Call of Duty, Overwatch, DZB Karat, Fallout New Vegas, Resident Evil series, Doom, Stardew Valley to name a few. I wonder where DSP gets his suggestions from. And then we have some lore about when Mr. Papavera was in school and got stabbed in the neck. So he puts this out as a comment. A long time ago, I was in a fight with someone in my school. During a class, when my back was turned and guard was down, and no one else was paying attention, the guy with a sharpened pencil stabbed me in the back of the neck, right on the spine. That hit the bone, and the tip snapped off. By the time I realized what happened, we were both separated by other classmates and being dragged out by teachers. After some time with cops and parents, we were both expelled and never saw each other again. The graphite was never removed, and decades later, I can still feel it. And then Mr. Papavera decided to nuke his Twitter and start all over. As you see, joined May 2025, but he's only following one person. Who could be this one person that he's following? And I'll give you a hint, it's not DSP. But it's gonna be a person that's gonna make DSP angry. So the one person that Mr. Papavera is following is Mr. Beast. That is right. You know, the evil scumbag that DSP says he is. Mr. Beast. Phil's not gonna like that, Mr. Papavera. And now, it's the disgusting part. So we have Preston J, and look at that location. And remember, he said he joined this. The Portland area Bronies. And also says he's a member of another meetup for Bronies, and we'll get to that too. And look at that, 521 Bronies. 7 upcoming events. And he describes himself as just a regular Joe. Spends time on the internets, and that's so cringe. When you put Z on the end of a word to sound cool, it's so cringe. Casual gamer works as a superintendent at a building, worked at Alaska, and the Grand Canyon. I don't know how you can work at Alaska, you know, because it's a state. And look at the interest. Pega Sisters? I don't even want to know what that is. Brony, Friendship is Magic. Bronies, My Little Pony. Friendship is Magic, My Little Pony, Television, My Little Pony, Ponies. Absolutely disgusting. And don't worry, we'll get back to that superintendent job there. And look at that, Sea Bronies. Preston J, same location. And not only that, so the other one was Portland, but he's in California, so he's willing to travel the country to meet other degenerates. And then look at that, he's also part of the Rainbow Dash Network. Now if you notice, Preston Jones out of California, and then says, this is the timeline for Sir Max, his other alter ego. But Sir Max hasn't posted anything yet. Why not register? I will definitely not do that. I'm cleaning out my history after this, I know that for sure. I don't want anything to do with any of this. And see, Sir Max. So Preston, Sir Max, Mr. Papavera, all connected together. Then we see some of his likes. My Little Brony, Fandom is Magic. My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic. Absolutely disgusting. And then on Amazon, he decided to leave a customer review for My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic by Tara Strong. And he gives it 4 stars. Don't know how I went 7 months since the first air date before learning about it. Since watching the show, I've been smiling more and just feeling better. And thinking more positive, like I used to. And it's been a while since I felt so good. I've also noticed I've been more accepting of people and kinder towards them. Plus the fandom is amazing. Not to mention the crew and VAs. Also caring and loving people. Love you guys. Hugs. And also, not only is he a Brony, he's also a furry. As Mr. Papavera puts this out, hashtag furry and proud awesome. I love this hashtag. I support all fluffs. And then he was on couch surfing, where basically you go to someone else's couch that you don't know and you travel and you stay there. And he says in the About Me section, I'm a 37-year-old male. At the time he was 37, he's 48 now. An Aries/Taurus. Because my birthday is right at the end of the month. I'm a little chubby, like 50 pounds overweight kind of chubby, but working on that. I've been vegetarian for over 2 months now. Yay. Remember, DSP doesn't believe vegetarian is real. He doesn't even know what a vegetarian is. I don't do any drugs, including pot. I've had people say pot doesn't count. I have no problem with people smoke, but I wouldn't partake. I don't drink or smoke cigarettes either. But yet, wouldn't have a problem with people that do. But I might prefer a smoke-free place. I'm a pretty happy and content person, and I live a pretty simple lifestyle. I guess I could mention I'm also a brony. I'm not anyone especially interesting, so I wouldn't be surprised being told you don't talk much. I'm like one of those people that takes their shoes off when they come in. Remember, this is a 48-year-old man, 37 at the time. Would be invited to go to a party, instead of mingling, end up washing dishes and prefers peace and quiet. Can you imagine that? You invite this dude to a party, which I would never do, and it's like, oh yeah, glad you're here, have a drink. There's, you know, some girls over there, go talk to people, and he's like, no thank you, I'm gonna go wash some dishes. What a sociopath. He must be really fun at parties. That said, I'm not particularly outgoing socially. Whoa, wow, what a shock. And can be shy a little bit, at first. That doesn't mean I'm not open to going out and hanging out in the least. I actually admire the outdoors, like camping, yeah. Anyone out there, do not go camping in the woods with this dude. You will be bent over a barrel and shown the 50 states. The place I work at now is an apartment building, and I'm the apartment manager. And I manage 16 units. All the people are awesome, and manage a place with upstanding people. Other places I worked at was the Grand Canyon and in Alaska for a season at Glacier Bay Lodge. I loved Alaska, and thought of moving there, by the way. Another cool place I worked in, Tahoe at the California Conservation Corps. I used to be a big fan of Yanni and New Age. Facepalm. When I was in my ultra geek phase, some parts of that I miss, but I kind of want to buy that one. Then talks about how he's into Steven Spielberg and George Lucas movies. Then talks about how his newest addiction at 37 is Minecraft, and says he's putting a server together with the specific purpose of a safe place for players with an emphasis on anti-bullying. It's up, but not open just yet to the public. Yeah, if I ever saw this guy's profile on Couchsurfing, which I would never even be on the site in the first place, I'd be like, this guy's a serial killer. I'm not talking to this dude. Then he even has a Microsoft account, and the About Me just says, just trying my best to take care of my machine. I'm one of those guys that doesn't really know what he's doing, but knows enough to get himself in trouble. Why does that sound so familiar? That sounds like a line out of How to Catch a Predator. And then he also posted this comment on Microsoft account. After more poking around, I found tons of errors. 356 system errors since April of last year. On my birthday, of course, grumble. That is so cringe, the grumble. You can tell he writes just like a boomer too. And then we have Cuddle Comfort. Mr. Papavera here. He's now at 42 at this time, and same location. And he describes himself as straight, status single, what a shock that is. Cuddles for women, he can be a host, but then right out of that, favorite TV show, My Little Pony. So let me get this straight. You're trying to go on this website to cuddle with women, and the very first thing you say about yourself is that you like My Little Pony. I wonder how much attention you got on this website. And he describes himself. I'm a pretty private person, so how would I describe myself would be shy and reserved. The reason I'm looking for this service is, though I prefer to be single, I still have the need to be affectionate. Might be interested in finding someone interested in the same. As far as how I cuddle, well, from the very few that I have, I've been told a few times it's the nicest thing they've experienced. That's difficult to break away from. Well, it's hard to break away when you're holding them down or tied up or something. I believe how it is, from how I've seen it, it would be a relaxing feeling and easy to fall asleep. That would be the chloroform, working as intended. I try to make things as comfortable as I can. I'm pretty submissive, and let the other be in control. And that's why he gets bossed around by DSP. All my attention is on them. I accommodate to anything I can. But most of the time, there's barely any of us talking. Content to the day just passes by. Sometimes turning into overnight stays. I have other ways of relaxing. Providing a daybed and down feather bed. I have no idea what that is. I don't want to know. Clawfoot tub and have some treatments. If you'd like to see a picture, just ask. No thank you. I've seen your pictures already. Then we also have his Cinema Treasures profile here where he leaves a comment under Sir Max. And he goes on this huge rant about how they're getting rid of his movie theater. And he doesn't understand. They just want a quick buck. It's bullshit. They should not close down his movie theater. and his town's going to hell. He doesn't know what's going on. Just leave his movie theater alone. Leave the movie theater alone. Then he also has a profile on Malware Bytes. I thought this was a tech site. However, he goes on talking about himself and how he wants to travel to Australia, Japan, Europe, and Canada. No, you stay away from Canada, you son of a bitch. We already have Derek and PWR. We don't need another one. And then we have an archive of the King of Hate forums. Do not go to this site at all. I think it's closed down, but I think it changed to DSP Gaming or something else, but do not ever go to this website. There's IP trackers on here. So we got one for Mr. Papavera and one for Sir Max. That's right. He had 2 accounts under different names, pretending to be different people, talking to himself as well. And not only that, he was defending DSP in these forums as well. And there was a point where something happened with DSP's Ubisoft account and he couldn't play games. So Sir Max, Mr. Papavera, puts this out on the King of Hate forums. So there's no way Ubisoft would see this unless they're on the King of Hate forums. I will no longer buy any Ubisoft games until Ubisoft fixes DarkSidePhil's account. DarkSidePhil helps sells your games. That is right. Mr. Papavera thinks DSP streaming their games helps sells the games. And this is not right, how you threaten fans. I'm kinda on the same boat. I'm a fan of Ubisoft, but I'm a little disappointed, and I can hold off from buying any titles from Ubisoft until this is resolved. And there's a few games I would like to get from that company too. Just buy used if you need to buy an Ubisoft game so they do not get your money, LOL. And then he was suggesting that other people strike Ubisoft on their channels to get back at them blocking DSP's Ubisoft account. And he says, that is true. I also like the strike idea. Wouldn't that be some shit? Now keep in mind, who else does this sound like? I know it's not him, but who else threatens to strike people? Like, again, I don't think it's him. No way. But it's funny how a lot of DSP fans always threaten to strike people. If DSP could influence that, that would get their attention and give them quite a reputation. But people could try to use this situation and try to get issues like fair use law resolved. And users like DSP would not be harassed anymore if it were common knowledge. Video game developers and publishers would know they cannot pursue people who want to display their gameplay footage. And then goes on further, how he's emailed his contacts. Mr. Papavera said he emailed his contacts at YouTube, and he says, I have sent emails to all the YouTube contacts and all the contacts on the EFF website. I suggest to do the same. I was trying to ask a revised policy to state more clearly on YouTube to protect users like DSP. And then he goes on to talk about how he's a longtime fan of DSP and how DSP's been harassed and him playing the game does not violate any laws. And then starts talking about landmark cases to back himself up and says the service that DarkSidePhil provides is enjoyable and genuine. Unlike other playthroughs, the commentary keeps it enjoyable. Regular visitors to DarkSidePhil's YouTube channel and otherwise passerbys get to sit along and listen to the commentary and get users watching involved with the experience. This creates new traffic to get excited about a video game title they would have otherwise not known about and would never consider before, and in turn generate more traffic to DarkSidePhil's channel and videos and more exposure to a game's title. I would like to point out DarkSidePhil's playthroughs are a benefit, not a hindrance to the video game's titles in questions. I have purchased 3 new video game titles as a direct result of watching DarkSidePhil's videos in the past 4 weeks. And I would like a newer and revised policy that states more clearly of gameplay content to avoid further confusion and protect people like YouTube user DarkSidePhil from any further inconvenience. What a cuck. Remember, this is a guy who's almost 50 years old. Papavera, you need help in a major way for many different things. Just stop. Get some help. And then remember what he said. He was a superintendent at an apartment and everybody's great. He overlooks all 16 units. Let's hear a little bit more about that. Hey guys, how you doing? I don't know if there's any point to this. Well, maybe seeking some advice, but I apologize. I just need the vent. And then goes on to say, he's a lowly on-site apartment manager. I'm not trained or certified that can do all kinds of handiwork, and I'm new to the game. And then goes on to say that some of his first time cleaning was drug dealing, drug use, translants, traffic, noise, and violence. And says he had no control at first. It's been an uphill battle, improving clientele, and an eye-opener. I've removed over a dozen bad tenants since I started. some potentially violent. One tenant we had was the perfect tenant, but he was scared off by a former bad tenant. We made a few mistakes. The latest one was taking a calculated risk on a prospective female tenant that I knew immediately was bad and told my property manager, do not move her in. Later, after the fact she was moved in, a family member told me she has a disorderly demeanor and good luck. And then started saying how the tenant was yelling, stomping, cursing, slamming doors, throwing things. And then he tells another story as someone stormed past him in the hallway and they claimed he was blocking the door. And apparently what he was saying was he was closing a door that was open and she threatened to call the cops on him because apparently she thought he was locking her out of the apartment and he was worried that he was going to get arrested or she was going to get a restraining order on him. Now this sounds really weird. So this is a tenant. He said, oh, don't move her in. She's bad. It just happens to be a female, just by the way. And then she walks in the building, sees her door open, and his hand is on the handle. Almost like he's going in there, like a creep. And she starts yelling at him and calling the cops. I'm willing to bet he was peeping around in her bedroom. But remember, he loves the job. Remember, they're all upstanding tenants. And that was Mr. Papavera. Hope you enjoyed that. If you have a suggestion for another person, put it in the comments below. Click that like, share the video, leave a comment below, hit subscribe. Subscribe my other channels on the details of the end cards. And as always, I love each and every one of you. Hope you're all safe, healthy, and happy. Peace and love.